Hi, welcome to part 2, thanks for joining. As you can see, it's starting to get a bit dark outside, so I'll try to speed this up a bit. We're going to go on to question number 6.
SteveJones313's asks, what is the best thing about being human?
Human beings invented the piano first of all. They invented the violin, they invented composing music, they created Stephen Fry, which is a big plus in my book. They created the ability to make a perfect steak. They created Jack Daniels, they created novels, they gave us the world. So basically the best thing about humanity is this ability to create. See, animals tend to just create what they need. They make shelter, they find food, they're happy living their lives, but we're not content, we want more. We humans strive for unnecessary things, such as, the world of music and, literature and, humanity could survive if we didn't have Shakespeare. Humanity could survive if we didn't have, Josh Groban or Beethoven. We could survive as human beings. Our bodies don't depend on it, but we seek it out. We seek out these things. And that's what makes humanity great. We develop culture. Animals don't have that. Humans do. We seek entertainment at a higher form. We seek this culture. And that's the fantastic thing about being human. It's what I love about being human. It's the fact that whereas my dog might prefer this sound which may just happen to be classical music as opposed to a sound which may just happen to be, Java music, which, let's face it, everyone hates. Whereas I can say, well, I prefer this song for its lyrics and whatever. An animal will just hear sound. We hear more than that. And that's the best thing about being human, is the fact that we can have culture.
X asks, what was the worst thing about dealing with swine flu in quarantine?
Okay, just to give you a bit of a quick back history, basically my mother called the doctor to say she had flu, and they decided in their infinite wisdom that it could be swine flu. So the entire family was told we had to come back home and be put into quarantine for 7 days, which annoyed the fuck out of me. How did I cope with it? I just snuck out every night. Just fuck that up. It's bullshit. This quarantine bullshit. Swine flu bullshit. Alright? Yes, it exists. But guess what? I didn't die. My mother didn't die. No one in this fucking street died. Alright? Fuck quarantine. Alright? Fuck it. Every night I got so demented being locked in the house. Right? I just went, fuck it, I'm leaving the house. I'm going for a walk. There was nobody around, so 2 o'clock in the fucking morning, I'm walking around just to spread my legs so I can get out of this house, because 7 days with my family fucking annoyed me. I mean, I love my family, but we're not on the same wavelength. We do not get on that well. In fact, my little brother Adam is the only guy in this house I will get on with. Mum and Dad, I didn't really cope with it. It was just people thankfully talking to me on MSN and, just trying to keep me sane and just breaking out in the night time, just go for midnight walks. Whew. Fucking quarantine.
Lone S. Wolf asks, did you ever expect a voice mem to be so much fun?
Squeak!
Little Lake Fairies asks, if you had to be a woman for a day, what would you do and why? Plus, if you had to choose at the end to be a boy or a girl, which one and why?
Trust Tash to cope with this question. I have no interest in being a woman for a day at all. None. Women have it rough with, periods, menstruation, childbirth, and, it's just stupid. Not only that, but you've got your tax burns and, fuck that. I'm happy being a guy. I've been a guy all my life. It's what I'm good at. If I had to choose, I wouldn't change who I am. I'm happy being a guy. If I was a woman for a day, I'd probably keep myself in the house, not do much. I don't want to go out and explore the world through a woman's eyes. Neither do I want to explore the pleasures of being a woman, as some sick guys out there might wish to do. Not my thing, not interested. Next question.
X asks, if you could change one thing about Britain or its legal governmental system, what would it be?
have some fucking pride in that country for a start, I think is the big one. I think a lot of people have lost any kind of pride in Britain because, let's face it, it's shit. You get shit where we got Chavez, you know. If I could remove one thing from Britain, it'd be Chavez, full stop, end of story. However, we're talking legal system, so what would I change about the legal system? Essentially, the only problem I really have with government is that they come up with, basically, stop the government making rulings about church affairs, right? And I'm referring to the Religious Hatred Act bill. Now, I am a free thinker, but whilst I think that for a start, I think a lot of Christians, especially evangelicals, I especially think that evangelicals are arrogant, vain, loudmouths who don't respect other people. That is not true of the majority. The majority of evangelicals I've met are, but the majority of people in the world, I imagine, are not that arrogant. The majority of evangelicals I've met, which is in the 300 plus number, arrogant, vain people who don't respect anyone else's opinion. Fine, you can believe other people are wrong. That's fine. Don't tell them to their face that they cannot possibly be right, because that is bullshit. However, I believe you have the right to come to me and say, I don't agree with you. That's fine. I think I've got the right to come to you and say, I don't agree with you. And if you want to preach in the middle of the street to anyone who will listen to your religious message, fine. If a Muslim wants to preach, fine. If a Catholic wants to preach, fine. If a Scientologist wants to preach, okay, he has the right to say what he wants. I want to smack him in the face because he's a part of an evil syndicate, but he has the right. What I don't agree with is the government bringing out the Religious Hatred Act, which is pretending to be a safeguard against people's beliefs. It's not. What it was basically the government saying, we can imprison you for preaching. But that's free speech, gone. Granted, we don't have free speech in this country because it's not a part of the Human Rights Act. But free speech is the one thing that we all kind of cherish. And if now what you're saying is you can't preach, you can't say in the street, you're wrong, I believe you're wrong. Fuck that. What are humans if we can't debate? You know, so one thing I'd change, keep the government out the fucking way of religion. Let religion handle itself. Free thinkers, believers, atheists, we'll duke it out, we'll solve it ourselves. Gordon Brown, you know, David Cameron and whoever the hell lead the Liberal Democrats these days, fuck off.
KL_Sunstrider asks, if you were transported to one of your stories which is either being written or has already been written, which one would it be and what would you do when there?
Out of all the stories currently being written and the ones that have been written, I would probably say the one story I would love to find myself in is Warriors, which is currently being written between myself and AJ, who's really the person that asked this question. Essentially, there is the ability to learn magics there, and what the way of the warriors, and you know, various different things. There are different schools within the story where people go to learn various things, and I would love to have the chance to go and then learn from Titanius, my main character in the story. Yeah, I would love to learn a lot from him, and then come back to this world with armed with that information. I would love that. Okay, time for the last question.
Michelle71 asks, can you sing a song for me?
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh why can't I? That's a lot from me. Good night.